Hi guys, we are doing our very last review of fractions in our notes. We're doing multiplying of fractions, so we're going to flip over to the front of inside cover of your foldable and let's get started. I think multiplying fractions is so much easier than adding and subtracting, so this should not take long at all. It's my favorite. So first of all, the great thing about this is that we do not have to get common denominators, which makes this super simple. So what we do have to do is all we really have to do is multiply going across. So what we would do is we would just do 3 times 6 on for the numerators, and we'd multiply 4 times 8 in the denominators. 3 times 6 is 18. And 4 times 8 is 32. The only problem with this final answer, it is correct. However, it's not in simplest form. So the last thing you'd have to do is think about how to simplify that. What can I divide 18 and 32 by in order to get a common denominator? When I look at 18, I look at 32, and I can make those little factor charts and go 1 times 18, 2 times 9 if I need to. Or you just look at it and you just get started. It might not be the greatest common factor, but it might be a common factor that works. So I'm just going to pick the number 2 because I see that both these numbers are even. 18 divided by 2 is 9, and 32 divided by 2 is 16. I look at my numbers again. 9 and 16, 1 times 9 and 3 times 3, 1 times 16, 2 times 8, 4 times 4. There is no way to simplify this fraction, and there is your answer. So that is one very simple way of multiplying your fractions. But the other way is, which I kind of think is kind of clever, is that you could simplify first before you even start multiplying. And that's called to cross simplify your problem, if possible, at the beginning. So what does that look like? What are you talking about, Mrs. Meyer? All right, so if this is our fraction here, what I can do is I can go across and see if there's anything I can simplify by. So I'm looking at 3 and I look at 8, so I'm going to go across. I'm going to look at this 3 here, and I'll look at the 8 here. We're going to go across. And can I divide 3 and 8 by anything? 1 times 3 and 1 times 4 and 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. They have nothing in common, so there's nothing I can do to simplify the 3 and 8. So go the other direction. Go this way, and let's look at these two numbers. 4 and 6. 1 times 4 and 2 times 2. 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. They both have 2 in common. I should know that. 2 in common, get it? 2 in common, like King Tut. Tutankhamun was his first name. Get it? That's my joke. I love it. All right. You can tell it's late at night. All right, here we go. So 4 and 6, they have 2 in common because they're both even. So I can divide the 4 divided by 2, and I can take the 6 and divide it by 2 right away. 4 divided by 2 is 2, so there's my new number. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. And there is my top new number. So now I have a set of fractions that look like this. 3 over 2 times 3 over 8. So that's what we just did. I was able to cross simplify if possible. And now I can just multiply my numerators and denominator. Multiply my numerator and multiply my denominator by the denominators. So 3 times 3 is 9. And 2 times 8 is 16. So I have 9/16. Hey, what do you know? That is the exact same answer we had using this first method. So I'm going to put a little or here. And you can decide which method you like better. Sometimes even by doing the cross multiplying, sometimes, I hate to say this, but sometimes you still have to simplify. It doesn't necessarily always work where you don't have to simplify at the end. But you can decide what you like to do. If you like just the traditional way of just straight out multiplying the numerators, multiplying the denominators, simplify at the end, go for it. If you want to try this cool, nifty little trick, which I think is really handy, because the factors are easier to pick out, you can definitely do this trick, get your new numbers, and you end up with the same answer. All right, let's go ahead and look at the bottom now. We're going to look at what happens when there's mixed numbers. It's pretty much, it's pretty similar, but there's a little extra little trick. Well, the good thing is we still do not have to have common denominators. Do not. Love that, love that, love that. What we do have to do is we do have to change to improper fractions. We can't really be dealing with any mixed numbers. So what I see here is I see 2 4/5. So the first thing we're going to do is change that. And we learned that earlier in our lesson this week. So we're going to start with our denominator of 5, and we're going to work our way around this number. So 5, and we're going to do mad. We're going to make this mixed number mad. We are going to multiply 2 times 5, which is 10. That's the M, multiply. And now we're going to take our answer of 10, and the A stands for add, and we're going to add that to the 4. 10 plus 4 is 14. And the D means keep the denominator the same. So our new numerator is 14. And our denominator for the D, mad, stays the same, which is a 5. And that doesn't change. So mad. 5 times 2 plus 4. Just work your way right around the circle. All right, now our other fraction is 4/7. And we are going to, again, you can do one of two things. You can multiply it straight across, 14 times 4 and 5 times 7. Let's always do that one first. 14 times 4 is 56, and 5 times 7 is 35. See, now this is kind of where it gets a little tricky. You got to think of all your factors now of these larger numbers, 56 and 35. So I'm doing the math, because I'm really good at my multiplication facts, and I actually know that 7 times 5 is 35, and 7 times 8 is 56. So I know I can divide both of these by 7. And 56 divided by 7 is 8, and 35 divided by 7 is 5. So 8/5, and that is an improper fraction. How many groups of 5? So I can simplify. How many groups of 5 can I get out of 8? Well, I can only get one group out of 8. And how many were left over? Well, if I have 8 and I'm able to, big fingers. If I have 8, there we go. If I have 8 and I take away 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have 3 left over. So I have one group of 5 complete and 3 out of 5 left over. And there's my answer. That's step number 1. Now let's go ahead and take a look at that cross multiplying thing that I really like to do. So let's go ahead and do that same problem that we had above after we did the improper fraction stuff. And now we're going to do that, change my colors, cross, simplify, if possible. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my crosses. So I'm going to start here first. 14 and 7. Oh yeah, I know that 7 divided by 7 is 1, and 14 divided by 7 is 2. So I know I can simplify that cross. What about the other? If I look over here, 5 and 4, no. The only thing they have in common is 1. So my new fraction is 2/5 times 4/1. Go ahead and multiply going across. 2 times 4 is 8. 5 times 1 is 5. And what do you know? That's the same thing we had over there. And so therefore it simplifies to 1 3/5. Again, it doesn't matter which method you choose. You just choose the one that you like best. They're both going to get you to the answer. If you have a different method and it still works, that's great too. Let's finish up our notes here. After we cross simplify, we multiply numerator by numerator. We multiply denominator by denominator. And of course, we always see if we can simplify. And simplify means turn it into a mixed number or simplify our fractions in lowest terms. All right, you're all good with your multiplying. Go check in with your teacher and do a little extra practice. See you later.